Okay, everybody. I know it's been a minute since I shared one of my books. This is my second completed sketchbook. I'm going to take my time flipping through it. This might be pretty long. Skip through if you like. I have a quick, just to flip through as another video. But without further ado, here we go. Since May of 2021. Wow. It's pretty long, 2 years to finish a book. I was trying to do every morning for a while, and then life happened, you know? Give ourselves some grace and do what we can. And you'll see a lot of familiar motifs throughout the book as I flip through. The reason why I like doing these is so I can actually share the sketchbook and talk a little bit about what's going on. Have my open studio, and it's kind of sad that nobody actually got the time to sit down and actually just look through the sketchbook, which I think is where the real magic really happens. So, here we go. It's like 46 pages, I think. It's a 50-page book, so I lost 4 pages for one reason or another. That's really lovely. And this was before I even started naming stuff. Yes, here's a few of them. Guess that I was in Philadelphia when I was doing some of these, huh? Put little notes in a book as I go through them. I think that was Magnus Carlsen, who's one of the best chess players in the world. I think he's number 2 right now in ranking for classical. A little side note, I guess. Something got cut out of this page. I have no clue what it was. That's pretty. Every now and again you see like a line through. That was like when I had a big long break between working on it. I also have sketchbooks at home since I have a studio now, so I don't do it all in the same spot anymore. Some of these are strange. Ooh. I think that was Kyrie Irving, but I can't remember. This is one of my favorite, like, loose sketches. Just love the way that looks. Great color choices and power in there. This is the lady from the Netflix series. I don't remember the series or whatever, but her outfits were always beautiful. This was actually a sketch based on like one of her outfits. It's lovely, but it's totally different than what I normally do. Well, I guess not totally different. This side is. I think that's Jalen Hurts. That's a nice picture. This was the Arthur Wright and Raymond L. Haywood. 2 great artists. Give me a lot of mentorship. An abstract skull. Like a lady in a red dress. Sometimes I do just really simple stuff. I would never do a painting like that just because I don't know. And then I think this is right when, Inktober of 2021 started. So 31 days of me just trying to do stuff abstract pieces based off of a prompt. Not all abstract, clearly. Raven, not in a fan. That's like, how do you do abstract pressure or abstract spirit and vessel? Some of them I was a little more literal. Moon for Warren Moon. Roof. Most people, I'm sure, did a building for that. chose to do a little graffiti style there. I really like that one. I think next time I try to do a graffiti piece, I'm going to do another one of that name loop because it has a lot of possibilities in it. Don't hate on her toes, man. She's fly as fuck. This is a really good picture right here too. This was hard to spark one. I remember that one being really difficult to try to get across. I would have to do a lot more attempts at trying to make fire with markers. And Risk. This one, you know, this one, I love really, really simple pieces. Like, I don't think that I would do a big piece like this, but I should. But I would have to do a whole series of them, and I would just have to play around a lot more to get six to 10 pieces that look like that with watercolor. And I would have to recreate the tan of the paper with some color. So it would be very intriguing to make that happen. And then I did like a whisper down the valley of a sketch. I wish I would have done a realistic picture of the face that I chose to use and just take it down to like pure abstraction. It's pretty cool. He who must not be named. Page of flowers. I had somebody commission me for a page. The other page is gone as one of the missing pages out of the book. She chose the other one over this one. This one is lovely though. And then slowly but surely, I start writing stuff like this is jailing. Jailing Rose. Such a bad picture. But it's funny. And this is supposed to be Shaq. And it says, don't ask. That's too funny. Man. This is why I like sketching. To laugh at myself later on in the process. This page doesn't look that great though. Meh. That's all right though. So one of my favorite artists is Kandinsky. And this one, I actually looked at some of his pictures, like right before I did the sketch, just to see if I could like capture some of his whimsy that he puts in his pieces and how he just like goes for random shapes and stuff. So that was really fun to do. This is what my sketchbooks used to look like, the whole book, before I started my little grids and everything. Oh, the chaos. It drives me nuts. Some of my sketchbooks still look like this, but I don't usually show those anymore. I actually did a commission piece of a dog for somebody that was just a test run for it. The piece is much better than this came out, but this was just getting used to it. Trying to capture sleep, you can't even see what that looks like, which kind of sucks, but This picture here was actually a reaction to somebody on YouTube reacting to Eminem's When I'm Gone and Stan. So that I was doing this while I was listening to this guy react to like first time hearing those songs. It was interesting thing. I actually made a large piece of it too. You'll see like there's some white dots on some pieces. That's telling me that I really like them. I think there's something in there for me to explore and try again, or maybe do a piece of. And if you see a little red dot, that means I made a big piece of it. I kind of like these little, I don't know what you would call them, like face-ish type pieces, where it's like you can see faces in them without it being a real face. I might need to make a print of this larger, because that's really lovely and just like elegant, simple. This picture I did a large piece of. And I really like the clouds, the way the clouds look in these, like a illustrative. And sometimes I do stuff that I'm just like, what in the world was I thinking? I don't know. But I'm sure it'll show up somewhere in a later piece that I do, just because it's out there now. It's been placed into the universe. Yeah, using words in my artwork. I don't do that very often, but my sketches, I really enjoy doing it. You know, this was our 22-year anniversary of us knowing each other, me and Tasha. This picture I actually created a painting on metal. Well, paper mounted on metal. We're a little over halfway done right now. Hidden problems. I really like that one. And clearly I like simple pieces too. It's like I was born in the wrong era sometimes. And it actually shows how, like, Mondrian is one of my favorite artists, how he affects me. And then I was thinking about doing stuff based on colors, and I was like, ooh, let me just see if I can do a yellow page. And you see, it took me 4 turns before I could even like let go and get down to really yellow. And then this one, I started pushing through a little bit more, coming back to some colors. That's really nice. Like that motif kind of led through to the next one. And this is another time where, as I'm going through my week, something happens. You know, I did this face, and I didn't like the face that much, but I enjoyed the color palette. So the next 3, I just played with the colors. And it doesn't matter what I did. I was just playing around to see what the different weights of the colors did to each other. And surprisingly, these bleed effects that happen with the markers actually translate really well into watercolor. This is when I turned 45. It says, when your kid pisses you off. Oh man, that's too funny. And then some more just simple pieces. And this one I also created a large piece. I actually did this as a large marker piece on a larger piece of paper. It's my only large marker piece that I've done so far. It's like 18 by 24. Not much to say about these. I'm currently working with stuff that speaks this language here with the loops. This was an influence. I was influenced by somebody's artwork that did this, that had like big shapes to make stuff. Like this feels like an old granny and like a Wii game or something. It's a gift from Granny, yeah. So this isn't really me, even though I do enjoy artwork that looks like that. I really do like the simple stuff. Just how brave it must be to do a big piece like that. Oh man, I'm getting there eventually. And this one right here makes me think of like an alien planet with like a little astronaut walking across a hill or something with like a weird cosmological body in the sky. Every time I look at it, I think of that. I don't know why. It's an alien planet to me. I tried doing this one in watercolor like 4 times, started a whole series of it. This is really hard to do in watercolor, but I'll keep trying. I think I'm going to wind up doing 10 of this experiment and see if I can make it work. This one I also did. Starting to get to the pieces where this is like after I got the studio, or right before I got the studio. So when I walked into the studio, I was like, ooh, I want to do these pieces. faces, man, when you stop doing them for a while, if you don't have a full system in place, they're hard to get back to. So I have to do a lot of faces for me to get good at faces. More stitch stuff. Another piece that I did really large. I really like the way that one came out. It's like very, very free and loose, unlike so much control that I put in all my other pieces. And this one I also turned into a series. I think I'm going to wind up doing, when I'm done, it'll be 10 pieces for this series as well. Different paper, different mode of painting and everything. This is all still last year. Now I'm 2023 now. And I started off this year, I came across this, I'm not sure, it feels like leaves or something grown out of the river. And I really like these. I'm positive I'll be doing a series of these at some point. But I have to finish the 3 series I'm working on right now before I can even think about starting something new. YouTuber, tattoo artist. His tagline is anybody can get it. And it always makes me smile when I see his videos. I'm sorry, I see him on Instagram, not YouTube. Aren't these just cool? These are like big faces too, but these, they just make me happy looking at them. Good fun. Yeah. And this is the last page right here. A journey through the Cotton River. That's kind of cool name. So, you ever come to my studio? Ask to look at my sketchbook. It really is where the magic happens. All right, everybody, that's it.